Karen Bass and Los Angeles, they're getting sued by the DOJ because they're not following along with any of the rules. They think they can stand in the way of ICE. Again, I mean, what is going on with these people? I'm blown away because I'm just sort of like, it's really not what you want to pin your whole party on, this and the trans stuff. I'm sorry, like it just doesn't play with the rest of the country. I don't think it ever will. No matter how much sort of academia, you try and feed us, it never will. And listen, they've gone after New York too, and they'll go after LA. And I have a feeling they're going to win this all day long because you cannot stand in the way of the federal government, as they found out, right, when Donald Trump came in and federalized the National Guard. But remember what Pam said to New York.
This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment.
There's something called the Naturalization Clause. It's important to remember, and it's Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4. The Congress shall have power to establish a uniform rule of naturalization. And guess what that does? It gives Congress the authority to determine who can become a citizen and who can enter and remain in the country. So that's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal because it means Karen Bass and the city of Los Angeles, or Mamdani, should he win, Zofran, I'll get it right eventually. Anyway, he doesn't have the right to say, okay, well, we're going to allow these people here. And if things get out of hand, as we saw they almost did just a couple of weeks ago with the No Kings protest, guess what? Donald Trump's coming in and he's got his National Guard ready, willing, and able to go.
Los Angeles, as you know, Jonathan, is 500 square miles. The problem that we had over a couple of days was about 1 square mile. It was about 4 blocks in Los Angeles. And it wasn't that. I mean, after you have a major sporting event, you might have a lot of celebration, and then there's a few people that hang around and create confusion. There was vandalism for a couple of days. Our police department, sheriff department, and other surrounding agencies had the situation completely under control. And by the way, the only thing the National Guard is doing here is protecting one building. That's all. They're not involved in crime control. So if you look at why we have peace in Los Angeles, it's because of me as the mayor, our police chief, our sheriff. We had the situation completely under control. This was unnecessary, which is why I call it an experiment. They are testing to see how far can they go as the federal government in seizing power away from the state and local authorities.
Wow. So let's get the camera back up here and rolling. Hopefully you guys can hear me. There is something called the power to call up the National Guard. Okay, so the power to call up the National Guard, Title 10, U.S. Code 12406, allows for the president to federalize National Guard units to enforce federal laws or protect federal property, even when state officials don't request it. And so this is important because the National Guard can be called up. And by the way, it has been. I mean, think about throughout history. I mean, the most prominent example really that I can think of would be 1962, George Wallace, Alabama, right? Where they had to send in the National Guard and they had to federalize the National Guard. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, tried to get in the way of this. Karen Bass has tried to get in the way of this. And guess what the court decided? The Ninth Circuit made the decision that no, Donald Trump had every right to call in the National Guard because they weren't doing enough to take care of their people. So just fascinating stuff as we really are digging in to this sort of legalese, if you would, that afford these different powers. I mean, there's also the Commerce Clause. And again, let's make sure the camera is on. Let's see. Hopefully you guys can hear me as we go for the camera. There we go. But you've got the Commerce Clause, Section 8, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3. The Congress shall have power to regulate commerce with foreign nations. So once again, enabling them to control the immigration situation. And as we look to whether or not the feds might do something vis-a-vis the New York City mayor, I would just say go back to everything that we're talking about here. Go back to all of this because AOC's in trouble. She's under federal this Mamdani thing is going to drive me nuts. Let's correct that. She's under federal investigation. You've got Mamdani, who has not yet won, but Donald Trump saying, look, if he does win and he wants to stand in the way of things, we'll arrest him. And that's par for the course. But that's if he wins, okay? Again, I think that people have to be concerned about that. It is a very real possibility that he wins.